Welcome to Behind the BNB podcast, where we go beyond the bookings and take you inside the real stories, strategies, and struggles behind every Airbnb success. I'm your host, Steph Murphy, and each week we will sit down with real hosts, industry experts, and inspiring guests to uncover what really goes on behind the scenes of short-term rentals. Whether you're just getting started, scaling your property portfolio, or simply love a good story, you'll find practical tips, honest conversations, and a few laughs along the way. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's go behind the BNB. Hello and welcome to another episode of Behind the BNB. I am delighted to be joined by Rachel, who is in Manchester. She's the founder of House of Joseph, and she's on the show today. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Steph. Great to see you.
It's good to see you again, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. So, as we like to do, is get straight into your story. You know, this is Behind the BNB. So your story in, behind your business and sort of your background we'll start off with, and then sort of what led you into the property world of Airbnb. So who is Rachel?
Well, Rachel originally, or still is, a photographer. First and foremost, I have been doing that for about 25 years, and I started my property journey in around 2020.
Yeah, not that long ago. So yeah, I mean,
not that long ago.
Yeah.
I'd always been interested in property, so I started looking for various courses. I started doing a buy-to-let renovation course, which was over about 12 months, but I got into that, and then I found that it wasn't really lighting me up so much. And I did do a couple of renovation projects, which went really well. In fact, one of the properties that's on my in my SA portfolio is like one of my proudest projects. But yeah, I quickly decided that the buy-to-let wasn't for me, and so I went and found another weekend course, and part of that was the rent to SA model, which I totally just really connected with. I loved it, and that's how I got into the rent to SA model.
So just to go back on your photography background, you have been doing that for quite a while, right? And what sort of photography?
So I work in TV mainly, doing TV campaigns for different TV programs. I do a lot of magazine work and celebrity photo shoots. Yeah, it's amazing. I absolutely love it. And, I'm never going to stop doing that. But since I've been on James's course, and since I've been doing the rent to SA, I sort of feel like I've got two careers basically that I absolutely love, and I feel so grateful to have this in my life. And I feel like I've been able to transfer a lot of my creative photography skills into my SA business.
I love that, because when we talked before we recorded as well, you talked about how that obviously lends to marketing your properties as well. So because you've got that creative flair, and you're able to see exactly how you want shots to turn out, you're able to do that, even though your background maybe wasn't real estate photography, but because it's your business, you're able to kind of figure out what the best sort of angles are.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually really passionate about the photography that I do in the houses. Like, I love doing all the detail shots, and just trying to make the photography a little bit different. We include people in the shots sometimes, because that's my bag, and it's just really fun. And I have all these ideas. I'm always brimming with ideas. So I've actually just taken on a marketing person to try and just sort of pin me down on everything and get a structure to all the creative ideas that I've got.
That's good. Is that something recent that you've decided on, to bring someone into the business who's marketing?
Yeah, it's a recent thing. I just really wanted to have some structure, because I'm working in both businesses. Sometimes it's hard to you can't do everything yourself. Like, I have a VA that does all my guest relations and all my systems. And yeah, it just becomes difficult. Like I said, I've got all these ideas, but because I'm moving it from one business to the other, I just thought it's going to be really beneficial for me to take someone on, as a marketing partner, and we're going to sort of concentrate on having a structure for the social media. We don't use TikTok yet, so I'm really keen to get into that field as well. It's not my forte, so I'm looking forward to work. We're literally, it's.
I'll be honest and say TikTok's not mine either, so we're on the same page there.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, and Instagram and Facebook, I guess, are the ones that I know. But even sometimes I find it difficult to post all the time, just with being busy. So I think this is going to be really beneficial to our business. We're just organising a videographer that's going to come round, and I'm going to work with the videographer, just capturing some content, which is exciting because I feel like I'll get to direct a little bit.
Yeah. And you love that as well. That's a lot of your experience and background as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely love that. So we've just been in the last week, really, we've been busy like formulating a plan for our new marketing plans.
That's so cool. And I I love that we've just delved straight into that as well as a topic, because it's what people need to know and understand. When it comes to your business, you do need to understand how to best market your property, especially in an Airbnb business, and create an experience. So the fact that you're going to be doing some videos as well and including people, and you already said you include people in some of those photos, it's really allowing people to see what kind of experience they can have within the properties that you have. So
absolutely. I mean, our design philosophy for House of Joseph, we focus on comfort. It's about creating a home away from home, luxurious experience, and we want our people that come and stay in the properties to know that we care about them. So this is so important for me to portray this in our marketing and social media. And I'm excited because it's the first time I've ever done anything like this. And I think what's important is, I think I just touched on it before, is to know that you can't do everything. And at first I thought I should be able to do everything within the business. And we've reached 5 properties now. We're looking to grow, and we're making some good profits now. And I think the first thing I thought is, what do I want to do? I could scale up to my next property, which actually we are doing that at the same time, or I could focus on getting everything really tight, my structures in place, getting my social media and my brand in a lovely flowing format. And that's what we're concentrating on at the minute.
That's brilliant. That's exactly, you know what you're doing. It's the right foundation to set. It's your structures, your processes, down to the marketing and what the process is going to be for that, and content scheduling and creating and then scheduling it and making sure that it's consistent across all those properties. And I was actually going to ask, so you've got five properties at the moment.
Yes.
Let's talk a bit about those. So the first one, when did you take on the first? You did say you owned one of them, right? That was a buy to let. You bought that and you long-term rented that one.
It was the renovation project, actually. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about that first one then. So when did you turn that one into an Airbnb, or what made you decide that you were going to try short-term?
That one, we turned that into a Airbnb in September. It's a larger property.
What year was that? Because you were doing all your research. Oh, just last year. So you've done all your property journey, I guess, started out with all the research initially in 2020.
Yeah, that's right. And I did this other property course, which was great, and I learned a lot, and it was about renovating and buy to let and those kind of things. But it didn't feel pardon?
And that's what you had been doing.
It didn't just feel creative. It didn't light me up. So then obviously I found, as I said, I found the Rent to SA. But I had renovated this property, which we call Norwood House, which has definitely been my favourite project. The transformation of this property was just amazing. I mean,
It's stunning.
I worked with an architect. We took a floor out, we turned the staircase round. When you walk through the door, you can see like straight up to the ceiling. There's a big window, so there's so much light. And it's really impressive as you walk into the house, and it's it's definitely my favorite project. So that one we launched in September, but I already had 2 properties that I've had since 2023, which are rent to SAs in Hebden Bridge, which is an amazing area. Actually, it's in Yorkshire. It's about 50 minutes out of Manchester.
Yeah, we'll get some images up of those properties because they're also really beautiful. Yeah. So Hebden Bridge, which the ones that you there's one that's got like these really nice sage green walls. Which one was that?
Yeah, that's one of the properties in Hebden Bridge.
Hebden Bridge.
And actually that property excuse me, that property it was the second one that we took on, and it needed some work. It needed some TLC. So I actually went in. I mean, it was right at the beginning of my journey. I went in. I had a business partner at the time. We spent time and we painted the whole house together.
I can't believe you painted
it was so much fun
yourself. Wow. Yeah.
I know. I actually, when we said we'd do it, it felt quite overwhelming and daunting. I thought, can I actually paint a whole house?
Yeah.
But we did it. We loved it. We had so much fun. We chose that colour. It was more of a sort of tranquil, like easy feel to it. And we were looking to attract like families, walkers, couples, people wanting to take a romantic break. And that was the thought process and philosophy for that property.
I like that design process. It's considering the type of guest you're going to have, and then next the experience that you're going to create. So that's brilliant.
I think that's so important, especially like getting to know an area that you choose to have your properties, and really sort of niching down on what your clientele is going to be. And then, you can base your design process around the people that you think are going to come and stay in your properties.
Yes, that's so true. And that you couldn't have put it any better than that. That's great. So that's what you guys did.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. And I mean, those properties, that's probably one of my busiest ones as well. I mean, I think Hebden Bridge is just so busy anyway. It's such a great area. People love to visit it.
It's in Manchester as well, isn't it? Just to be clear.
It's in Yorkshire.
Oh, Yorkshire,
so it's about a 45-minute drive from Manchester, so not far.
Oh, so I think Yorkshire then. Yeah, I remember Yorkshire is just stunning place. You've got so much just greenery, Nate Forests. What is it? Peak District that's Yorkshire, isn't it? I know it's Sheffield.
No, the Peak District is on the other side, but it's more like Yorkshire Dales, Calderdale. Yeah,
all that area.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those prime locations that it's no wonder you're busy.
Yeah, no, I think Hebden is one of those places where, I mean, because we've got sort of Leeds, Manchester, Liverpool, like, the bigger cities that are around Hebden Bridge. And I think a lot of people just, from the nearby cities, it's a place where people can just go and take a quick break away. And there's lots of lovely bars, restaurants, famous walks. Yeah. They do a lot of filming around there. So that often attracts people to the area. So, I mean, all those sort of surrounding areas and villages are super popular.
Yeah. Speaking of filming, have you done any of the filming around there, or is it more your focus is somewhere totally different?
Yeah, I mean, over the years, I've done many projects over that way. And actually, it's been quite a good link. I've just taken on a guest for quite a big 6-week booking over the summer.
Because it's that, yeah.
I know, honestly, it was so great. But it was from one of my TV contacts. Because I'm starting to reach out and let people know, sort of within my photography industry, that I've got a service accommodation company.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good way to get bookings. There's always filming in the areas, so people are looking for crew accommodation, cast accommodation. I mean, it goes for Manchester as well.
Oh, that's such a great, sort of foot in the door there for you, I guess. With, I don't know of many people who would know about actually making yourself known in that type of industry to potentially get bookings and have people stay when they're filming in the area. That's definitely one way to get more bookings for your properties if you know about that sort of industry and what they do.
Yeah,
Because they're sometimes based in one area for quite a while, right? If they're
a
filming,
couple of
depending on
months.
what they're filming. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a great way. I mean, it would be hard for people to get into that sort of industry if they didn't have the connections. But
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, it is a way to look for extra long-term business, I guess, like long-term
Mm.
bookings.
That's great for you. What an advantage you have in already having your contacts. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think we've touched on this before when we've chatted together, Steph. I think,
Mm.
it's so important to use contacts. Sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you can just think
Yeah.
out of the box and think about, what people do you know that can help you, who've you worked with in the past, even down to like property developers, what people in property do you know on your Facebook, on your Instagram that you can reach out to. I mean, so many people reach out to me. In fact, I mean, I was going to say with photography, and I'm always willing to help them and answer a question. But I think people
Yeah.
have started reaching out about property as well now. So, and I think one of my biggest takes and a bit of advice that I could give is just to definitely reach out to people that you know, because you just don't know where it's going to lead you.
So true. And I'm so glad you said that because, you haven't been doing this course for very long, right? You came into James's course, what, like less than a year ago, right?
Yeah, I think it was September.
Yeah, September only last year.
Yeah,
And you had you had one or three properties when you came in.
I had three.
Yeah, you had the
Yeah,
three.
I had three. I was just launching the bigger property,
Yeah.
and I, I really needed some help and advice actually, because previously I'd had a business partner, and then we parted ways just because we had other passions and ideas, and I took on the two Hebden Bridge properties, and then decided to launch the bigger property, which was one that I owned. So I found it quite easy. It almost felt like a cop out. I knew I wanted more rent to SA properties, but I had a bit of a block on how would I achieve getting any more. Like it was at that point where I thought I really, really need some mentorship, and that's when
Mm.
James's course came in for me.
Yeah. So your previous partnership were they maybe more did they source those initial properties in Hebden Bridge or was it like a team effort?
It was
Because
a
I remember
team
you
effort.
talking, yeah, I remember you talking about the relationship you had with the real estate agent. You took him out for coffee and
Yes, that's right.
yeah.
It was actually that contact was a contact of my business partner at the time. We did a small weekend course together. Um, I think it was at the beginning of 2023. We did a small weekend course which was touching on it was serviced accommodation, but it was like a part hotel renovation basically.
Mm,
And part of that course was the rent to SA model.
yeah.
But as soon as we started to, I was on the course with my friend, as soon as we started to hear about that model, it excited both of us so much.
And that was the first time you ever heard about that in that first initial weekend course you guys did. You didn't know about rent to SA before that.
I did, but I didn't know much about it.
Yeah. Okay. You heard
Yeah,
about it, but didn't know, yeah, didn't
yeah,
understand what it looked like.
yeah.
Okay. And then, so you came into, how'd you come across James, by the way? I can't remember.
So it was my partner Ashley. I was looking for mentorship, and she was just because she knew I was looking for some mentorship. She'd been looking around as well, and she sent me the Airbnb link, and I watched a few of his videos, and then I didn't really look any. This is a question people have asked me. Did you look round at loads of courses? But I didn't, because I'd already done a course. I just connected with what James was saying straight away. I just felt like there were so many things that were in alignment for me, and the Instagram and what James was saying, it just really spoke to me. So I reached out straight away.
Yeah. And then, so you came on board and then you acquired another 2 properties, because now you're up to 5. So they're rent to SA as well, aren't they? Short-term rentals. Yeah. So how did you then, what sort of changed in you to then decide you were going to go out and then try this on your own? Because I remember you saying you were like, you thought it was a bit of a cop-out because you had the property that you owned and you were like, I'm going to turn this into Airbnb, and you got a little bit stuck. So what can you speak to that and how you felt at the time versus maybe, I don't know, how long you'd been in James's course and then you felt, okay, now I think I've got what it takes to go and get that 4th property now, especially because it's a rent to SA. Because it's not always easy when you're going out now. You're trying to build rapport with landlords or agents, and you're trying to get that property.
Yeah, I think that's exactly why I was looking for the mentorship, because I don't find it difficult to talk to people. I don't find it difficult to pick up the phone. I think the block I had, and I think it was my own personal block, and this is where the course has really helped me. I think at the time I felt that when I was calling people, I didn't have enough history behind me. I didn't have enough knowledge behind me. And very quickly on the first part of the course, I jumped on so many calls, and it gave me a lot of confidence. It gave me a lot of pointers.
Wow.
Of things to say. It's not like we had there was a script given, but listening to how other people were asking for properties and speaking to different agents, it gave me a lot of confidence. And then I started to feel like my business had more credibility. And again, I think that was totally my own thing and my own stumbling block, but the course really, really helped me with this. And I just contacted, again, agents that I knew, people that I already knew, started telling them about my business model. I had a website already, so I was proud of the images and what I had, and I was able to get
definitely, I will say it's definitely something to be proud of, because the website is beautifully done as well.
Thank you.
Whoever did that.
I mean, I didn't do that myself. I had a web designer, but
that's great.
But so I mean, James and the other mentors gave me the confidence to be able to get the other 2 properties. And also it's like a little bit of bits of information, and it's that you take from the calls that are it's not just about contacting agents. I mean, I think one of the main things that they try and get across is if you can speak to a property developer and get in early on property while it's being built, or if you know any property developers. And this just got me thinking, do I know any property developers? I must know somebody. And after I'd thought for a while, I remembered I did know a property developer who was a neighbour of mine, actually. Wow. So I just I sent him a message. I said, have you got time to speak to me? I just want to tell you about my business model and chat to you about it. And he was like, yeah, sure, come over, we'll have a coffee. So I went over and did that. I was really passionate about the business, and he loved the model. He loved what I was saying. And his business partner actually had a property that was coming up for rent. He connected me with his partner, and that's how I got one of my next properties.
So that was your 4th one?
Yes, that was my 4th.
And what's that one called again?
City Retreat.
That's a City Retreat. Yeah. And that's in Manchester, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 10-minute walk out of the city centre. Really great location. It's a lovely property as well.
And then your 5th one, did it come from the same guys or?
No, fifth one came from a local agent that I'd started to make relationships with. Again, they did know about the rent to SA model. So I told them a little bit more about House of Joseph. I showed them my website, and yeah, we just got on very well, and they were keen to give me a property, and then that came up very quickly.
And so that's property number 5 and
Yes.
counting. Because did you say you've got a 6th one in the pipeline?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I
Is that
think
is
we've
that
got an
recent?
apartment.
Okay. That's new, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. It's really new actually. So we're going to be turning that around pretty soon.
So how did that
Luckily, I've got
one? Yeah.
yeah, no,
Luckily,
I've got my
yeah.
partner that I work with as well, so we can do that together.
Nice. So that's Ashley, you said.
Yes, yeah.
So, okay. So when did she start getting involved? Because she does her own thing, I imagine.
Yeah, she does
Yeah.
her own thing. She started getting involved probably around last September when we launched the bigger property. She actually did all the interiors of that property, so she went
Ah,
out and thought of the color scheme, bought all the soft furnishings, and
well
helped.
done, Ashley.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
got a really good eye for that.
Yeah. So she obviously helps a lot with the design then and yeah, just getting them basically fitted out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. So, and she'll be doing that for this new apartment once we get the final green light on that one.
So what are you waiting on before you get that green light and the go ahead? Is it just contracts and
Yeah, contracts, just like a few final things with the agent. It's
okay.
quite
So we
close
can't
to
we
the
don't
end.
have any pictures of that yet. We can't put
Not
that
yet,
up
not yet.
yet. No, not yet. But can't wait to see that and can't wait to see
Yeah,
what Ashley does with it too.
yeah, I'll be sending them over.
Yeah. And then obviously you'll do the photos and all that kind of thing and yeah.
Yeah, this new property is going to be a much quicker turnaround. I'm actually starting a really big job, a photography job on Thursday. So
Ooh,
Ashley's going to
okay.
take the reins with this new apartment
Yeah.
once we get the go ahead. So that's exciting.
Yeah. I want to ask you what's happening with the what photography job because I'm interested in that side of that you do too. But we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
No, do you know what? I probably can't talk about it until I've done it.
Okay.
Sometimes,
Okay. Yeah.
sometimes the stuff's pretty confidential
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
until I've done
Um,
the shoot.
I get it because I don't know if I told you I did a little bit of modeling and some commercial stuff like
Oh,
back in the
okay,
day.
cool.
Yeah, and I remember they explicitly would have to sign these contracts and not talk about anything
Yeah.
related to the brand or product or anything that they were promoting at the time. But anyway, so it's a quick. You said it was going to be a quick turnaround with this 6 properties. It for what reasons? Just because you have this project coming up that you need to get it done, or is it a smaller property or an apartment, or what's the reason for the quick turnaround?
Yeah, it's smaller, and obviously I'm going to be working, but also we've got a couple of festivals coming up, and I
Ah,
really want to get the apartment on. Um,
as soon as possible.
yes, so we
Yeah.
can maybe get bookings for the festivals, and
Yeah.
also like I feel like we're just hitting our peak season here. So I'd like to just get it up and running and give it a good go over the summer.
Yeah. That's it. So speaking of festivals, are you quite in tune with the events in the area or do you, because I know that a lot of people rely on the platform Price Labs, for example. You're using Price Labs as well, aren't you?
Yes, I use Price
Yeah.
Labs.
Because sometimes, I guess, depending where, because not everyone lives in the same city as, where they're running their Airbnb business
Yeah.
from. So are you someone who likes to keep up to date with what's happening? I mean, for example, the Hebden Bridge properties, 45 minutes from you, are you aware of what's happening in the area? Or are you the type that kind of, because you're so busy as well, are you then
Yeah.
relying on Price Labs because that tends to change your pricing It's a pricing tool that everyone should be using when they're running an Airbnb business. But it factors in, because you put all the information in, obviously, about your property, and then it actually knows when these events are coming up to then adjust your pricing accordingly. So is that?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. We do use Price Labs, and you can have a look over the months to see what's coming up. But also, I mean, my VA is fantastic. I do tend to set him research tasks to see.
That's good.
So he has a look what's coming up. Because I've had those Hebden Bridge ones over the last couple of years, I sort of know some of the main events that are coming up, and obviously definitely know what's coming up in Manchester. I mean, there's so much going on here.
Always,
We've got,
I feel.
I mean, we've got football, we've got the concerts,
Yeah.
we've got marathons going on. I mean, there's so many things. I mean, we've had marathon guests in our properties,
That's so cool.
but also a couple of the properties that I've got they're about 15-20 minutes out of the city centre in a place called Prestwich. So we have park life in Heaton Park. We have concerts. So when we've got that coming up, we've got Park Life coming up. We've got the Oasis concert coming up.
Oh, wow.
So it is
fly
good
over just for that. I'm like, really?
I know,
Oasis
yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay. I'll talk to James about that one later. We'll see. And then we'll have to come and visit you. But you're saying next month, I don't know.
Can have a good catch up.
Yeah, that would be amazing. But you said, is it next month Oasis are there?
Oasis July. In fact, next month. We're in June, aren't we? Park Life is this month.
Kids have got 3 weeks coming up in July. No, we'll talk about that another time.
You're a long way away as well these days.
It's so far. If we're going to do a trip there, it has to be at least 3 weeks
Exactly.
or a month.
And then yourself over that jet lag.
Yeah, I know. But we do have family over there, so we do need to plan the trip anyway. And then, But this is it. When you've got those events coming up, this is the time to really maximize on the pricing strategy. Yeah. Really
so it's good to know what's coming up. And, I think most people do end up having a VA. So there's so many things that you can, tasks that you can ask them to do for you.
Yeah. What's your VA's name, by the way?
Ken.
Ken. Shout out to Ken and appreciate all the work you do.
Absolute shout out to Ken. He's fantastic.
How long has he worked with you?
Just coming up to 12 months now.
Okay. Wow. And so he what's some of the tasks that that you've delegated to him that he looks after for you in the business?
So he does all the guest relations now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So he's over all that. I mean, he does all my spreadsheets, and I mean, I'm a creative. Spreadsheets, that they're not my forte, I must say.
I feel like spreadsheets for any creative person is just it's just a no. It's a no-go, really.
Yeah. So he does all that for me and keeps it in order, and he puts it into a really simple format that's easy for me to understand.
Amazing.
So he's doing that constantly. I mean, we've been learning things together, actually. I've taught him about Price Labs, and also I've been very much in the business. So I've slowly started to remove myself out of the business.
That's good. That's so good to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like learning to be a manager as well, because obviously I feel like I'm the CEO of the company, but also I've been learning to sort of manage Ken and cleaners and a team, and also, training Ken up to take over that management role. So slowly I've been training him up to manage the cleaners, and now he's doing that really, really successfully. Yeah, honestly, I've been giving him so much praise recently because he's just done a brilliant job. Because it was like I had a tendency to sort of micromanage everything. I wanted it to be perfect, and it was really hard for me to step out. But we've come up with a really effective system now, whereas he's just running with it so he can learn it, and he's done a brilliant job. And if he does need anything, because we've got many WhatsApp groups with the cleaners, I've just stepped out of those groups now, and if he needs anything, he contacts me. But it's sometimes better if I'm not available and he can think for himself. And you know, he's always done a great job and figured it out. So I'm really happy with that.
That's great because it allows you, and we talked about this. We had a conversation about this before. Like, it's not always great for you to be in the business long term. To start with, it's good because you obviously need to work out what it is you want and how you want to build this. And, you know, you've obviously got a vision and a business plan that you're working on. But eventually you do need to remove yourself out so that you can then focus on the bigger picture and that is expanding, you know, which you're the only one who can do that, not Ken.
Yeah, of course. That's what I mean. You've hit the nail on the head, Steph. Like, you know, I have been so much in the business, but I think it was necessary. I'm still learning myself. I'm still on James's course, you know, jumping on calls as much as I can. And, you know, I have to teach these things to Ken. So that meant I was very much in the business all the time, but I can really see how I've been able to step away over the last few weeks. And now I am concentrating on growing the business, making a plan. I think it's really important to have plans and goals. And I think at the beginning I was so sort of hell-bent on getting to these 10 properties, whereas now I'm more focused on what we touched on at the beginning, which is getting my structures in place, making sure Ken knows what he's doing so I can, you know, slowly remove myself. And I have slowed everything down. And I feel like we really know what we're doing and where we're going now with this plan. And now it's the next stage where we grow. We're going to take a couple more properties on. You know, we've got the apartment coming up, and I've got other things in the pipeline. I'm working with an investor. And, you know, for me, we don't need to rush. We don't need to go a million miles an hour.
You're doing really well with the properties you currently have, right? So can we talk a little bit about, you know, the costs that it's covering? Is it enough? You're getting an income from it, you know, that you're happy with, you're able to cover your costs. How's that looking? Like, because you're saying you don't need fast growth. So it's obviously performing really well. Like, obviously not always, because you've got winter season, summer season and all the rest. So in terms of how these 5 are performing, would you say that, you're comfortable?
Yeah, absolutely. I think like the first goal I set myself, it wasn't to take over my whole photography income. It was to say, I wanted to cover all my living expenses. So like, let's say, you know, rent, bills, food, all that sort of thing. So I didn't have to think about that. It felt achievable. That was the first goal. So, I mean, we have surpassed that now. And I mean, it feels amazing, actually. It feels like an amazing position to be in. I think the quieter months, we've never been at a loss. I've been so lucky. We've not been at a loss. The bigger house is, you know, it's always been popular, and it's growing and growing.
Wow.
Which is amazing. But yeah, we've reached our first goal and surpassed that now. So it is feeling comfortable. We feel in a good position.
Yeah.
And it allows...
That's in less than a year as well. Let's talk about that as well. That's in under a year. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I never even thought about it like that. It's been quick, and you know, we've been working hard. Like the first part of the year was stressful at times to try and get things covered, but that allowed me to really think about my pricing strategy. And, you know, James has given me so many great tips and coaching advice. And I've been experimenting with the pricing with James, and everything that he's told me to do. You know, it's taken a little while, but it's paid off and it's worked. So I've managed to fill my calendars, and it's been fun, just, you know, having the chance to experiment and learn the pricing strategy. So we have this in place now, but like you said, it hasn't taken that long to achieve the first goals. And now we've also got money to get our next properties, which is great. And we're also looking at you know, with the properties that we've got, it's like, how can we add to them? Like we have an event space at the bigger property, and we're looking to collaborate with other partners. So we've just gone with 2 hen party companies.
Yeah, wow.
Which is amazing, because we've just got, we've got these great ideas to have. So we want to market it as a hen party property, but not where people are drinking and having massive parties. It's more of like a Zen hen party property, because we've got the event space. We've had yoga retreats in there. We've had cacao ceremonies. So we're looking at like bringing facilitators in to do like
wellness retreats and all that sort of
wellness
thing.
retreats,
Yeah.
and more of a wellness hen experience where
Yeah.
they may do sunrise yoga and have a cacao ceremony, or have sound healing and bring massage in.
I love
In
that
the
you
space.
clarified. I'm trying not to laugh, but I love that you clarified that it is not these crazy hen parties that you're trying to. Yeah, you don't want your property damaged by the end of the,
No,
at the, end of the
absolutely
day.
not. And our
So we
neighbours would hate us for that.
Zen hen parties. I love that.
Zen hen,
Yeah.
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 So you cater to that as well. And you've
Yes.
partnered, you've made sure, I guess, you've partnered with businesses who obviously organize these types of Zen hen parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's really in the early stages. We're just signing the contracts for those at the minute.
That's great. What an opportunity there as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be able to do that. Offer your property up for, as an
Exactly.
event space. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a different way to think about things, to market your property.
It's really out of the box. I know people will be watching this and thinking, oh, I never thought of that. Like, yeah, maybe I could do that. Obviously, depending on the type of property you have and its location and all the rest of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it might not be for everyone. I mean, I really enjoy that side of it, thinking like, what can we do with that property? It's not just a straight Airbnb, if you will. It has so many other opportunities.
Yeah.
And it's like, what properties have we got around it in the area that enables us to expand? So we haven't just got the one property, but, maybe someone booking, we let them know that we've got other properties, and then, more people can stay.
Yeah. And that's a great position to be in, in terms of your growth. It's very considered as well. You've got you've got the time and the space, I guess, to really map out what your next step is. So, after this 6th property, have you got plans for the next, or what's the future plans for House of Joseph? Like, what is it, by the end of this year that you're working towards, or what you want to achieve?
I think by the end of this year, I think we'll definitely be on at least 8 proproperties.
Yeah.
I'm working with a couple of investors at the minute that want to.
Yeah, you touched on that.
Yeah, they love the business model, and they want to buy a couple of properties, which I will then take off them as in the rent to SA model. So we're actually looking for properties at the minute together so they'll buy the property and then I'll rent it.
How did that opportunity come about? Is that just contacts again, through contacts? Your network?
Just people that I know. I think it's really important to talk about your business, network, tell people what you're doing.
Yeah. So true.
Because
a lot of people don't want to say anything until they've done something, but sometimes the opportunities don't come about if you're going to be quiet about whatever it is that you're working on, really.
Yeah. And if you believe in this model, I mean, I really believe in this model. It's brilliant for any landlord. I mean, it's so much better than having a tenant in your property. I mean, especially like, I know the way I keep the properties that I've rented. I mean, that they're in just as good or better condition.
Yeah.
From the day that I took the properties on.
Yeah, that's true. And that's definitely an advantage, that you have over, when you go to find a rental property, I have to be careful with how I say this, because a lot of the time, James sometimes gets these comments on the social media, oh, you're destroying the housing market, you're taking
Yeah.
properties away from tenants. But if you flip it and you look at it from the perspective of a landlord, unfortunately, we've got people who come and they stay in the properties and they absolutely destroy it, and then cause so many issues as well. It's no wonder so many landlords are open to this model.
Yeah.
So we talk about, I know that we talk about this in the course as well. It's like when you go about acquiring your first property, and then sort of, you mentioned what the advantages are really of working with someone who's managing short-term rental properties.
Yeah.
And it's, as you say, you're keeping it clean, it's getting regularly cleaned, it's maintained, it's well decorated, you're looking after it. Well, as long as you are doing that, when you're building this business, because at the end of the day, it's your business, it's your reputation, and all the rest of it. So yeah, and look what you've built already with House of Joseph. I think it's a strong brand. You've got these beautiful themes in the properties, so it's such a great pitch deck, I have to say. So no wonder you've got investors on board already. So congratulations on achieving that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's exciting to work with other people as well. It really is. Like,
Yeah.
I think like I said before, I'm so grateful. I love my photography work, and I love this the housing work as well, the property work. I love to work with other people and collaborate, and talk about ideas and think about new ways where we can move forward in all areas across the business. And it's great to just bounce ideas with other people as well.
Yeah, especially if it's the right type of partnership as well, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got a bit of a relationship with them, and a bit about their background and all the rest of it, then yeah, by all means, go for it. Because I think, as much as you present, like when you're in this situation with investors, just speaking from experience, I guess, you have so much to offer, and then they do the background checks and all the rest. But at the same time, you also want to be doing background checks on them as an investor to make sure that they are going to be a solid partnership, at the end of the day, because it's like, as the saying goes, when you get into business with someone, it's like getting into bed with them. It's almost like a marriage, because it's a long-term commitment, especially if it's someone purchasing, and, you're going to be managing for potentially years to come.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It feels quite clean this way to do it, though, because it's not, it's not like, obviously we'll have a contract in place, but it's no different from any of the other contracts that I've already got with estate agents or the property investor that I work with. So I think once we found the property, the buying of the property is down to them. We're not, we're not putting funds in together. So that's always their investment. And then obviously I bring in the rent, the contracts and the agreement where we take the property on a long-term basis.
And then they're paying you a management fee, right? To manage it for
No, I will rent, I will take on the whole property as I
just,
do.
Yep, rent it off them. Yep. Nice, clean. Yep. That's
what I mean. It feels like a really clean way to work with somebody.
Yeah. Are you open to management, or you'd prefer just to stick to this for now?
Yeah, I'm definitely open to it. I have had a couple of people come in. My focus isn't on that at the minute. I think if I switch my focus onto that, then that would come in more for me. But I think my focus is at the minute is finding the properties, working on the business, working on the structures. And I think at some point when I feel like I'm at a point where all that is, I mean, it's never going to be 100% in place, but where I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable with everything, then I'll probably start looking at the management side. Like I said, a couple of people have asked me, but it hasn't come off as of yet.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that sounds good. It sounds exciting. And it's definitely, you said by the end of this year to get 8 properties. It sounds like that's it.
I mean, if we reach the 10, great, but I'm not going to drive myself mad.
Yeah, I mean, 10's like a nice round figure, but 8's also great.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, I just want to add as well, I don't think I would, I'm not even going to say I don't think, I know I wouldn't be here without the course and the mentorship and, you know, the constant education that I'm getting from James's course. It is one of the best things I've ever done. It really is.
It goes both ways though too, you know, it's lean in from you because
Yeah.
I think anytime you sign up to a course that it's that decision, that mind shift of I've committed to this, and it's how much you lean in, like it depends how much you get out as well. And I think by the sounds of it, you've really lent in, you've really jumped on those calls and made the time and put the effort in taking what you've learned and applied it. And it just goes to show how successful you can be when you apply those principles that, in all honesty, we learned through making many mistakes. And it's, you know, now don't do what we, you know, did and messed up, you know, doing, we were trying to figure it out on our own. And now it's here's the guide, here's the manual, and it works every time. And I love hearing that time and time again with every student I've interviewed, and even students who've then turned into coaches who are now coaching in the community, and everyone is growing their business at the same time. And I think that's also what's really special about this community. Everyone's in it. They're actually in it, doing it, and it's your peers, you know, what have you done in this situation that you can come in on those coaching calls and talk about and be really honest and open and get the help that you need to continue to grow, like just like you have. And there's so much more, isn't there? I mean, if this is what you've achieved in less than a year, then it's just like, what else is there, you know, for you?
Exactly.
And I can't wait to see it because I love House of Joseph brand. I love the name, and, you know, obviously it comes from, we talked about it comes from your surname, obviously.
Yeah, well, it came from, it was my surname and my business partner. So I'm obviously Rachel Joseph, and my business partner at the time was his name was Joseph.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, how can we make that work? So then we came up with House of Joseph, and then obviously I kept it because it was still relevant to me.
Yeah, it's great. And the branding and the colors, and I think the future's, it's so bright. And you're only just getting started, Rachel. This is what's crazy.
So much to come.
Just started, yeah. So it's good. So any last sort of tips and advice to people who are watching this and they're like, they're still on the fence, because we've got a lot of people who are maybe just starting out, or people who are just still a bit hesitant. What sort of tips and advice can you give to those people?
I think just get stuck into the course. If you're at the beginning of this course, get on as many calls as you can, reach out to the community. I mean, I've made contact with so many people in the community. I have I jump on calls with people. It's great to share advice and stories. And I think just get on the calls, stay motivated. I think if there's any moments where I'm feeling a bit down or unsure, I know as soon as I jump onto a call, all my doubts will be lifted. Wow. You know, it's inspiring. I get ideas. I get all my questions answered. And I think just I was going to say take the risk, but it's not a risk once you've done, you know, your due diligence and you've done your research. And I think if you are on the fence thinking, should I or shouldn't I, for me, it really has been the best thing that I've done. But I show up to the calls, I take the advice, and I do my research, and I think that's super important.
Such great advice. And I don't think we could have ended it there any more better than that. So Rachel, with that, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your story and your background and everything that you're doing and all the plans for the future as well. So really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, you're so welcome. This is brilliant.
It's been great to chat to you.
Yeah, likewise. So To our audience, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with anyone you know who is interested in starting their own Airbnb business. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because obviously that really helps our YouTube channel and pushing this content out there for more people to see, and potentially also, change their lives through short-term rentals and creating their own Airbnb business. So thanks again for watching.